Welcome to A Minute with Maxwell, Mission in Motion, the podcast where we dive deep into leadership stories that are shaping the future of seniors' care and retirement living across Canada. Today, I'm honored to be joined by an incredible leader, Lois Cormack, CEO of Spring Living Retirement Communities. Lois is widely recognized for her visionary leadership and commitment to creating vibrant, people-centered communities.
We really listen to our leaders. We believe that every community is unique. We can't really put a cookie cutter in, like whatever it is, the ED and the leadership team in the home have a say.
Throughout her career, she has been named one of the Globe and Mail's Women Lead Here honorees, featured in the Financial Post CEO 100 scorecard, and recognized among Profit Chatelain's top 100 female entrepreneurs. Under her leadership, Spring Living continues to experience exceptional growth and innovation.
We've had 337% revenue growth over a 3-year period.
Wow, incredible.
Going from 2 little homes to 22.
Most recently being named one of the Report on Business's fastest growing companies in Canada. In today's episode, we'll explore Lois's journey from her very first job to leading one of the country's most dynamic retirement living organizations. We'll dive into what drives her passion for seniors living, how she identifies communities with strong potential, and the lessons she's learned about leadership, growth, and purpose along the way. I'm Heather Maxwell, and I would love for you to join A Minute with Maxwell, Mission in Motion. Welcome, Lois, to our podcast.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. Well, I am very excited to have you here as well today. So, Lois, let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us, what was your very first job? I'm curious to know. And what did you learn from that experience that stayed with you as a leader today?
Well, so I grew up on a farm in Kennington, just outside of Lindsay. I had 4 brothers.
Oh, wow.
And I was, as the only girl, I still had to do farm work because there was always chores to do.
Yes.
So when I turned 15, I was determined to find a summer job that did not involve doing chores on the farm and where I would be better compensated.
Yes.
So even at that time, I was passionate about cycling. I cycled to Kennington to the nursing home, Bonnier Nursing Home, and walked in, and the owner met me at the door, and I told her I was looking for a summer job. So she handed me an application, had me complete it on the spot. As I was talking to all the residents, I completed the application, and she asked if I could start the next day.
Wow.
So I started the next day. She lent me some uniforms to wear. I started the next day as a healthcare aide at $2.15 an hour.
Wow.
So then she needed help in the kitchen. So I served as a dietary aide from time to time, a healthcare aide. So I then worked every summer, every weekend, all through high school and college at Bonnier Nursing Home in Kennington. And that's really where I think I developed my passion for seniors. I love the residents and really enjoyed this and really enjoyed the opportunity.
Oh, that is so amazing, Lois. I have known you for almost 2 decades, actually, and I did not know that story from the beginning of your career. That is so interesting. And I have to say, it parallels the start I had as well. I have 4 brothers as well. I grew up on a farm as well. And I started out picking up rows of potatoes for my dad for like 25 cents a row. So I did as well. And then I went, my mother had actually started a retirement home, helped to start a retirement home in Southwestern Ontario. And I went and helped my mom in the retirement home. When I was just 14, I started. So very similar. Wow, that's amazing.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes,
I don't
that's
think I got paid as long as you. I had to pick stones, and I don't think we were getting paid.
That's hilarious. Oh, too funny. Well, that is, and it's so interesting. The more leaders that I talk to, I find that several of us have this in common that we actually started out in seniors living from a very young age because we knew someone, we had a parent or a grandparent
Yeah.
that perhaps worked with seniors and we grew to love it, right? We absolutely grew to love seniors living and actually stayed in seniors living for our careers. So that's so interesting, Lois. I love it. And so, how did you first discover, and you sort of just talked about this, how did you first discover your passion for seniors living? And was there a defining moment or influence that inspired you to pursue this path?
Well, I think from all of my time working at Bon Air as a young, student, all those weekends and summers, I found the work very meaningful. I mean, I loved the residents. The first resident I met the day I walked in was applying her lipstick all over her face. I asked if I could help her, and I think she told me where to go. But I just really enjoyed the residents, the teamwork, the camaraderie. And you know what? At that time, Kennington was a relatively small town, and a lot of the residents never had a visitor.
Oh,
And the staff would go shopping for them, bring them Christmas presents, take their laundry home and mend it. And so I really saw what an impact, and everybody that worked there was local, and they loved the residents. It was like family,
yes,
like their grandparents.
yes.
And so I think that was really the time. In fact, a friend recently shared with me what I wrote in her yearbook in grade 12 was that I said I was going to own a chain of senior living
Wow.
homes at that time. And I'd be happy to have her
Oh
come
my
and work with me.
gosh.
So I think at that age,
Wow,
that
that's amazing.
really kind of influenced what I wanted to do. And I just, loved the business from that opportunity.
Wow. So you knew at a really young age exactly what you wanted to do. That is amazing, Lois. And you certainly have done an amazing job of that. So looking back, what were some pivotal moments or turning points in your career that helped shape your leadership philosophy?
Well, I think interesting you say that, at an early age, I knew what I wanted to do. I did, but I didn't know how to get there.
Yeah.
I just I didn't have any mentors. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to get there. And so the owner of this nursing home was a nurse. So I thought, well, I guess I'll be a nurse because
Yeah.
I want to be a her eventually. So that's what I did. But I think what really shaped my philosophy is the variety of bosses I had over my career. And, the path that I took, first in nursing, even though in hindsight I probably wouldn't have, it really gave me a good grounding in terms of how the operation works and
Yeah.
the day-to-day front line. But I would say mostly from the bosses I had, I had one boss who could not make a decision to save her soul. And I learned, fairly early in my career to be decisive
Yes.
and to be responsive so that people reporting to me, if they need a decision, you have to get back to them quickly. You can't pontificate for 2 or 3 months or weeks, or
Yeah.
if it's important that you get back with a response quickly. So I think decisiveness is something that I learned fairly on in my career, and maybe, and I guess every strength is also a weakness, and maybe I'm too decisive too quickly. At times
Yeah.
you could say. I think the other was, I had a leader who would just talk incessantly, pontificate
Oh.
on and on and on. And that kind of really just drove me crazy. And so I learned to be very succinct, clear in my messaging and clear in kind of what it is we're trying to achieve and so on. And again, maybe I'm succinct to a fault where I can be too brief or be seen to be abrupt,
Yeah.
perhaps. But I think that was another thing that kind of shaped my style. And I think the other, is just working with micromanagers over my career. I really tried hard not to be that and to learn how to trust and empower the team and really hire people who are not like me.
Yeah.
Because you can't have everyone that thinks alike. You've got to have a really diverse team and hire people that are very not like me.
Yes, that is so true. And I really like what you said because you've had mentors in your past and you also saw perhaps what their strengths were and also what their areas for improvement were. And you've learned from that and applied it to your own leadership. So we know that mentors are so important, right? Especially for young people that are starting out in their careers. It's important to have a mentor and someone that can sort of help you show you how to pave the way and what good leadership looks like. So that's so important. I love that you brought that up. Now, as the CEO of Spring Living, can you tell us, you have experienced rapid growth, much through acquisitions. And can you walk us through how you approach identifying and integrating new communities into your organization?
Yeah, so we started, myself and I have 4 partners. We started Spring Living in 21, and we set very clear investment criteria at the time. So number one, we focus on what we call value add. We want to be able to create value.
Yeah.
So we always look for underperforming retirement homes.
Okay.
They could be lower in occupancy, have a higher expenses, just not on market rate. So that's the first thing. And is we look for where we can add value and create value for residents, shareholders, and so on.
Yes.
We always look at, so that by virtue of that, it tends to be more of a mid-market.
Yeah.
It's not, your A-class, 99% occupied, newly built residents. They tend to be a little older and underperforming.
Yeah.
The other is we focus on urban markets. We want to be in an urban, the GTA, the Ottawa, Kingston, Greater Montreal. We go to Alberta, BC, but really want to be in an urban market. We're not terribly, we wouldn't go out of our way to buy in a tertiary market just because, we think staffing is more difficult and residents. So that's kind of our key criteria. It's also private pay. We don't do anything that's government funded directly, like we wouldn't invest in long-term care. And so with this strategy, we started with 2 little properties. We now have 22 properties. And we're in Ontario and Quebec. We'd like to be in Alberta and DC as well in due course if we found the right opportunity.
Amazing.
And as you mentioned, we were just recognized in the Globe and Mail report on business as one of Canada's fastest growing companies.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it really is a testament to our team and my partners. We're all very smart. We've had 337% revenue growth over a 3-year period.
Wow.
So
incredible.
Going from 2 little homes to 22. And we've actually got a very strong pipeline because of what we do. And we hope to acquire more by the end of this year through this strategy.
Amazing. And so, Lois, I'm glad that you brought that up, your strategy, because when most people, I believe, think about retirement living, they picture 2 extremes. They picture the high-end luxury residences with premium price tags, or they picture the basic, no-frills options that cover only the essentials. But there's a growing and vital space in between mid-market retirement homes. And those are quickly becoming one of the most important solutions for Canada's aging population. So how did you, when you started in 21, what made you go down this route?
Well, I think it was my partners had a vision because they were in multifamily and they had always kind of refurbished older buildings, and they wanted to see if that would parallel in retirement homes. I had been the CEO of Sienna and Specialty Care, and I always had newer properties. And so I really liked this idea of creating value, not through developing a new property, not building, because, that can take 7-8 years by the time you get the land and so on.
Yes.
A very long process, which I was not enjoying being a part of that. And so this was very exciting to me to take an existing asset that could be, typically they're about 20 years old, they're unloved.
Yeah.
And to see it, we put in, we immediately changed the operation to put our systems and processes in place. Our menus, we add assisted living and some usually memory care if we can, because we find that seniors, to your point, in mid-market, most seniors cannot afford the really high rents of an A-class product in Forest Hill or, on Vancouver Island. So the vast majority of seniors, we would say, are in the mid-market income stream. And so when you have a smaller suite, you can keep the rent affordable, and then we can add, all of the care and services that the resident needs for as long as they can stay, to avoid moving to long-term care, because it's a much nicer experience than moving to long-term care. So
absolutely,
that's really our goal, to make the suite affordable so that they can afford then the services. And, we would like to see, a program in Ontario to make senior living more affordable for more seniors.
Yes.
Because we think that's a need that, people go to long-term care maybe prematurely just because they don't have the finances to go to a retirement home.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it is really, really rewarding, though, to see, a property that was unloved or non-core for its previous owner for whatever reason. It might have been, a single owner operator who just wanted to get out of the business, retire. Or, a larger company this is no longer core for them because it's older. And really to see it, put the operation in, expand the team, improve the amenity space, renovate the suites as they need to be renovated. It really is so satisfying to see a complete turnaround. It's not easy. It's a lot of work for the team, and the team does an incredible job to do this deep, heavy lift work. But it is extremely rewarding too when you see, the residents enjoying the new space and the renovations, and and you can really see what they're creating value.
Yes, so needed in our landscape, right? This mid-market that seniors can actually afford. It is so needed. So kudos to you for doing that. And Lois, can you tell us, when you're evaluating initially the potential acquisition, how do you determine whether retirement home will be a good investment?
Well, first, we need to know that we can improve it. So, we wouldn't look at something that's 99% occupied or the rates are already very high. We can't add any value to that or create value. So immediately we tend not to look at that, other than if it comes with a portfolio. So, we have acquired portfolios that are, say 4 of the properties, we could create tremendous value because they're under occupied and their expenses are out of line, and they may not be doing well. And then there's one that is doing really well that comes with the portfolio. We would take it.
Okay.
So that's the only way. So number 1 is that we can create value. Number 2 is the price. It has to be a reasonable purchase price, because you cannot pay for full value, because we're taking a lot of risk to get an occupancy from 70% to 94%. That's a long time, a lot of work to do that. So we have to pay. It has to be valued properly. And, we always look at what we're paying per door, make sure it's well below replacement cost, particularly given its current performance. So those are some of the things. And then we always want to make sure that we can take over the debt that's in that place, or that we can get financing from one of the conventional banks.
Yeah.
So there's all the financial modeling that we do as well. But essentially, those are the fundamentals.
The
to make sure
fundamentals
that
of
we create value for our residents and for all of our stakeholders.
Wow, amazing. And that is how you've grown from 2 to 22 sites since 2021. That's amazing, Lois. This podcast is brought to you by Maxwell Management Group. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked side by side with individuals, teams, and organizations to uncover what makes them exceptional and to help them grow from the inside out. It's not just about reaching goals, it's about creating success that feels deeply authentic and genuinely meaningful. Organizations, like people, have stories. And when those stories are rooted in purpose, they become powerful forces for attraction, culture, and identity. We are committed to partnering with brands that want to lead with intention, cultivate vibrant workplace cultures, and become the kind of employer that top talent seeks out, not because of perks, but because of purpose. Over the past 18 years, I've had the privilege of leading Maxwell Management Group's growth into a highly specialized national executive search and education firm, one that thrives on values, vision, and the belief that when people lead with purpose, extraordinary things happen. To find out more about our executive search, recruitment, and education services, please visit us at maxwellmanagementgroup.com. So, growth, as you know, often brings both excitement and challenge. What have been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned while leading a fast-growing organization?
Well, I've learned a lot over my career because this is really what I've done. In every CEO role I've had, 3 now, I've grown companies, significantly, doubled, tripled the size of them. So I've learned many lessons along the way and done it differently and learned, different tricks of the trade. There's no one single way, I would say, depending on the asset and what's in place. Every community is unique.
Yeah.
I would say the one thing that is so important is really understanding what's in place.
Yeah.
Understanding how they do it, what's in place, and seeing if we can augment that rather than just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Can we augment what's in place?
Yeah.
Build on their strengths. And so enhance it with our systems and processes. Naturally, we have to standardize for sustainability. We can't run 22 different business models.
Yeah.
So we do have to standardize, but really supporting that on-site leadership. They're still going to be the face to the residents and staff.
Yeah.
It's never going to be our corporate team's never going to step in and take over. It's always going to be the executive director. So it's really supporting that team, making sure they're on board, understanding what changes need to be made to get the efficiencies and improvements that we want. And, sometimes you have to make changes in due course as well.
Yep.
So we would do that. Our preference is always to grow from within.
Yep.
To take on the existing team, teach them, new methods and processes. That's always the preference. That's what we try to do.
Amazing. I love that you promote from within.
Yeah. And you had mentioned mentorship. The other thing we do often, if it's a property that was just a small owner operator, a small company, they often, the new leadership team really likes the fact that they're part of a bigger family, if you will. And so what we do instantly is mentor the ED with one of our existing EDs. And for all of the managers, we do that. So they now have a buddy, if you will, that they can call and go and visit. And so we introduce them very quickly to the rest of the team so that they feel the support and love of the entire company.
I love that. And that actually leads me to my next question, Lois, which is Spring Living has developed, and you've touched on this, a strong reputation for its people-first culture. So what strategies, and you just named one, buddying people up and marrying them up with someone else in the organization that can help mentor them when they start. But what strategies, other than that, do you use to build trust, engagement, and purpose across your teams?
Well, I think essentially all of our partners in our senior team, all really from our very core, we believe that every person, every team member plays a meaningful role,
Yeah.
adds value, comes to work every day wanting to do a good job. So we honestly just all believe in that. And so we take every opportunity we can, whether we're in the sites or there's a good news or a positive outcome. We're always just sharing and thanking and expressing gratitude and congratulations and celebrating
Yeah.
for a job well done.
Yes.
We have a number of other very specific techniques like impact awards, that employees can give to each other.
Yep.
We can give to recognize anyone going kind of above and beyond or really making a difference. Obviously, ongoing education, communication, leadership retreats. It would be very similar probably to what many others do. This key, though, is really, I think where we may differ a bit is because we're still small and very hands-on. We really listen to our leaders. We believe that every community is unique. We can't really put a cookie cutter in, like if menus need to be tweaked, if promotions need to be tweaked, open houses, whatever it is, the ED and the leadership team in the home have a say.
Yes.
They can say, this is what will work here, whether it's their capital program for the following year, their budget for the year. They have a lot to say about it and we really believe that they know best what their community needs, what their residents need. And so they really do have a lot of input into decision making and a lot of say. And I think that might be an important differentiator.
Yes, that is so important, right? That we listen to our people, and sometimes they have the best ideas, right? That can
They
be
do.
implemented and used throughout the organization. So that is key for sure. And so, Lois, you've been consistently recognized as one of Canada's top women leaders. What does that recognition mean to you? And how do you use your platform to empower others?
Oh, well, I think there's a number. One, I think I've always believed advocacy in any role I've had. I've had played a significant role with our associations, work on OLTC, and right now I'm the co-chair of our Real Pac Senior Living Committee.
Yeah.
Because I believe there has to be good public policy to support senior living in all classes, whether it's home care, long-term care, retirement. So I've always, kind of worked hard with the CEOs of the associations and been on the boards and tried to advocate for good policy and meet directly when I need to with government, and was more active in the past than when I was involved with long-term care.
Yeah.
But the other is just mentorship. I've always, taken an active role in mentoring youth.
Yes.
And I make a point when I'm visiting the sites to speak to the students, always thank them for their work, ask them how they like senior living, and really encourage them to consider a career in senior living. That really is our future.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many CVs I've assisted with, connections, just helping young leaders connect, give references, and just develop, within, because I believe strongly that we want to develop within our organization. So we put a lot of things in, mentor programs for new leaders, and just this shadowing and anything that I can do to help that next generation and shape them and get them passionate about the business is what we do, and support people, even though they may not have the skills. We believe that if they have the attitude and the passion and are aligned with our values, that they can learn the skills. And so we'll take a chance and promote wherever we can. And 99% of the time, those are the individuals that really excel and do well.
Yes. And it's so important, right, that we promote seniors living as a great place to work, a great sector to work in, because so many, even high school students don't really understand that seniors living is actually a sector to work in, right? So many people that we talk to think or say to us, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a healthcare aide, I can't work in seniors living. And they don't understand all of the roles that are available. Like, yes, there are nursing and PSW roles, but there are also maintenance roles, there are human resources roles, there are food service roles, there are programming roles, operations leadership. I mean, there are just so many finance, right? There are so many roles in seniors living, all very important. And we know with our demographic now, where for the first time in history, we have more seniors than children, we know that this sector is exploding. And we need people, we need good people, and we want young people to consider this path or this route as a career, right? So I think that's so important,
Exactly.
Lois, that you do that. That's amazing. Now, Lois, for those listening that may not quite understand the difference between a long-term care home and a retirement home, how would you describe that to people, especially if they may be helping their parents or their grandparents and they're looking for a solution, and they're not quite sure what is the difference. Can you just sort of summarize that for us?
Well, for the most part, across Canada, there is some exception. But for the most part, retirement homes are private pay and, most offer from anywhere from independent living, assisted living, or a la carte services and then it's all private pay. So the resident pays or the family pays or whatever source it is. Long-term care is funded by government.
Yeah.
So the resident pays a small amount for the room, whether it's a private room or a semi-private room, and government funds the operator for the care, for all of the nursing care, for the meals, and the services. So the resident's only paying for the room, not the care and services. And so it's much more affordable for the resident and their family. So anyone that's doesn't have a pension or hasn't sold their real estate, can't afford a retirement home, automatically would have to go to a long-term care home once they need, 24/7 services, or they can no longer live at home alone.
Yeah.
The challenge is there's a large wait list. I think the last I heard it was about 40,000, even though we're building new beds and replacing the older stock.
Yeah.
And so it could take a long time to get into a long-term care home.
Yes.
And the quality of life may be different just because it is funded by government. The staffing levels may differ. And so you just want to have a look at both if, you're making that decision.
Yeah.
And if you can't afford a retirement home, that would be probably a better quality of life for as long as you can afford it.
And so this is why, going back to our original, to the top of the discussion, why the mid-market retirement home is so important, because it's much more affordable, right? But when you're in a retirement home, Lois, versus a long-term care home, you still have a lot of amenities that you can access. So can you talk about, with Spring Living in particular, what amenities you have for seniors coming into your homes?
It depends on the community. There are communities in Quebec. Some of them in the Greater Montreal area have bowling alleys and swimming pools.
wow.
And one of them has a golf simulator for golf, pool tables. But so that's Quebec. They tend to have that as common amenities. Ontario, because our properties are older, over 20, 25 years old, the suites tend to be smaller. We do have large common areas, lounges, nice areas, usually a recreational area, activity areas, a cinema, a library.
Yeah.
The common, a bistro, a nice dining room.
Yeah.
We always encourage residents to come down for the meals.
Yes.
Some of our properties just have a continental breakfast. Others, it's a full breakfast. But we really want residents coming out, enjoying all of this space.
Yes.
And all of the activities that we offer. So there's also just a ton of activities. We want we believe that if residents are socially active and engaged and doing physical activities, they'll maintain their health
Yeah.
much longer and be healthier and happier.
Yes.
So we want and encourage residents to get out and get involved and participate in the activities, and particularly the fitness class, because that does help to prevent falls, maintain their balance, improve circulation, and has just a ton of health benefits.
Yes, so important. So important. So that's really good to hear, about some of the differences. And, you have led through a lot of transformation and growth as we've been discussing. What qualities do you believe are essential for today's leaders in seniors care and retirement living?
Well, I would say resilience. It's not always going to be ever smooth sailing. Like you think you've got a plan for the month or the year,
Mm.
and then inevitably there's changes, whatever.
Yeah.
Either a regulatory change or something, the flu or something comes through and changes the plan.
Yeah.
So I think just being resilient, having grit, curiosity is key. A desire to learn, being open to trying new things, learning new skills. It's one thing that my partners, the benefit of this partnership, because they come from real estate and different backgrounds,
Yeah.
and to say, why don't we do this in senior living? And so we've tried a number of things and, learned and done a lot of good things as a result of that curiosity and bringing different people, diverse opinions to the table,
Yeah.
who all think differently.
Yes.
And although it can be scrappy and you might not always agree, you always come out perhaps with a better mousetrap once you bring diverse opinions and perspectives to the table and work out different solutions and ideas. So I think that the grit, the curiosity, the willing to work hard, really listen, surround yourself with diverse perspectives, ask questions, stay open to learning. These are critical, I think, for success for the next generation. Really understanding it, using AI. It's an incredible tool.
Yes.
Using all the tools you have available. We have to stop doing things manually.
Yes, that is so
putting
true.
things online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so
Getting rid of paper,
yeah.
footprinting.
I think that is critical, Lois. You summed that up beautifully. But you are so right with technology and with AI in particular now. We are able to do so much more, like, for example, monitor residents if we have to. And there are a lot of there's a lot of technology coming down the pipe for seniors, right? For seniors to use and for retirement homes and long-term care homes to use as well. That will help to track the health of the residents, right? And that is so beneficial as this technology progresses. What are there things that Spring Living are utilizing with new technology, for example?
I wouldn't say there's a lot. The tools we're using more for leaders, like using smart systems and tools to help our leaders be more efficient with their time and energy.
Good.
We're focusing a lot on that, like the menu systems
Yes.
and more of the back office.
Yes.
Pulling tools from our Yardi system and really helping our leadership to become more and more efficient with their time. And because the less time they spend on administrative, the more they can be at the front of the house.
Yep.
So that's really our focus. And then the quality of life for residents, adding the care and services they need, and really investing in solid programs for memory care and assisted living, because I think that's a lot of what the future is going to be.
Absolutely. That is so important. So that's good to hear. So anything else that you would like to leave, leave our listeners with, Lois, as we close out today?
I say this to anyone that's considering senior living, like, why would they leave a hospital for senior living? And the answer is that they will have so much more opportunity to take on a leadership role.
Yes.
If you're an RPN or a nurse or a activation coordinator, whatever the role is in a senior living, as opposed to, say, a hospital or another home care or another thing, your chances of becoming a leader are so much higher.
Yeah.
because there's fewer of you, and that anyone who wants to become a leader, you're going to have that opportunity in senior living.
Yes.
So I would say I would leave that as anyone who's even contemplating a move, or although the pay, there might be a short-term change in pay.
Yeah.
Over the long term, you're really going to excel and have an opportunity for a leadership role.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Lois. There are just so many opportunities to advance in seniors living, and there are such great mentors out here as well, especially for young women that are coming into the sector. There are so many great mentors like yourself, Lois, and you have made it clear today too that your organization is it's very important to you that you promote from within as well. So you're really looking to mentor, train and mentor, young people so that they do have a career path and can look for promotion and opportunity for advancement. So thank you for adding that, because that's just so important as well. So thank you so much, Lois, for being with us today. It is always such a pleasure to speak with you. And thank you for sharing your insights, your experiences, and your wisdom. Your story is such a powerful reminder that leadership is about vision, courage, and staying deeply connected to the people that we serve. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to share it with a colleague or friend in the seniors living sector. Let's keep celebrating leaders like Lois who are shaping a brighter future for aging in Canada. Thank you for listening. Until next time. So thank you for joining us today. And if you would like to learn more about how Maxwell Management Group is supporting the continuing care sector, please feel free to visit our website at maxwellmanagementgroup.com. And also, please like and subscribe to our podcast wherever you download podcasts. Thank you for joining, and see you next time.